Hey y'all, what's good? Your host Desla. This is the Rise and Rush podcast.
All right, welcome to the Rising Rush podcast, where we talk everything Dragon Ball Legends related, such as news, meta, hot takes, you name it. I am your host, A-Town, alongside our co-hosts, Opsto, Desla, and Glow. And we're going to kick things off, jumping into the news and weekly reset for the 20th of March. First things first, we've got the equipment bonanza that's coming back as of the 22nd of March, and that's going to be here to the 31st of March. So if you're saving up your erasers, by all means go in and get your equipments for your favorite teams ready to go. We've also got some new equipment that's also in the game, such as the blue Final Form Cooler equip. We're talking about the OG LOE that got released years ago. We'll talk about his impact on the meta on that. We also got another LOE Zenkai being the green First Form Cooler. We'll talk more about that as well. The Adventure Hoi Poi event is in the game from March the 20th up until the 14th of April. So for this particular gimmick, you're going to have to utilize the adventures to get the materials. There's a lot of CC in there. You also got some LFZ power, a bunch of other stuff such as erasers. So if you're not doing your daily adventures, do that so you can get those free materials without wasting too much of your energy. We've also got the Limit Break banner. That's also back from the 20th of March up until the 25th. So if there's any teams that you want to focus on to get their Z power up, such as your Super 17s or your Super Baby 2s, now it's the time to utilize your Z power for that. Ultra Rising Majin of Calamity has also returned with the yellow Ultra Final Form Kid Buu. He's in the game from the 20th of March up until the 30th of March, so he's only going to be here for 10 days. And that's pretty much it for this particular week's update. Now, let's go ahead and talk more about the new units in general. Well, I would say not new units, but new upgrades to these units, such as the Cooler and the green Zenkai Cooler. I'll start off with you, Desla. Have you seen any impact or have you used them at all? Because from a first glance, the green Cooler looks like he's all right with the damage, but he still doesn't look like he has what he needs to be in that meta conversation.
Yeah, so I'm gonna save the other two from having to really share it because I'm really guaranteeing they're not gonna really have two vastly different opinions from me on this. Currently, right now, all that they do is just fulfill very niche roles in the case of Green Cooler Zenkai, and then for Blue Cooler, it's just a waste of an equip.
Yeah.
So it did literally nothing. What it needed to do was give crit support on switch out to allies and not himself, but
Mm-hmm.
they obviously messed that up. Green Cooler, his Zenkai has a neat little gimmick with the bleed effect, and I assume that will play into the LF we get for this upcoming reset for the PO campaign. But other than that, kind of just dead air for a
Dead
week for a
air.
reset. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling as well. Like I was hoping because of this platinum equip that would bring Cooler back into the conversation to be more of a battery with the only other relevant LOE unit, which is Go Frieza, that could potentially do something to the meta relevant units such as Ultra Gohan and Super 17 and kind of putting him in their place. But it seems that that's not the case. Do you feel
oh
like
yeah,
he's
no, that was 110% the main reason why I was looking forward to the equip. When I found out that you could tie his art, the background art they used for the asset in
mm-hmm.
the Twitter preview, I knew that was Blue Cooler. I was like, oh, that could actually be really good to use in place of the first form Frieza support. Because I mean, dude, Go Frieza already does insane damage. You stack that with substantial crit support on top
Mm-hmm.
of the crit ramp up that they have already in their base kit. Jesus, they're gonna hit a little hard. It's just I was excited for that, but of course they have to find a way to mess that up. So,
Yeah,
oh
it's
well.
very unfortunate here. And like he still can't take too much of a hit. I mean, they've added some sustained damage kit to his kit, but like on switching, he doesn't get any key. All these other units that have endurance, he can't really do much about that. His ultimate is still meh, gets a green card off of that, which he can feed into what other LOE unit that can utilize the green card.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
what are they thinking here?
They're not I mean that was already pretty blatantly shown when they decided to for some reason give again the crit support to Cooler himself and only on switch out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. I really don't.
especially with no
So
like sub count manipulation to get them in faster.
exactly. Nah, the only time that any of these equips have been anything even remotely noteworthy was when Purple Super Saiyan 4 got one, and that's because he already had like modern mechanics in his base kit.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, I mean, it would have been the same as all the others, all these other 1% they've gotten equipped so far. Just a nice little niche thing that content creators can do to kill time between the actual important units coming out for showcases that happen for, every other weekly reset, make content on. But in between then, that's what these guys for 1% equips are for, to kill time. About it. If
Yeah,
you're not a content creator, it's not at all worth your time. I'm sorry.
I agree. And like for a normal player like myself, like I stay updated to the game, but I can't summon on any banner. I don't got the funds for stuff like that. And for people who are utilizing their resources and erasers just to get the equipment to its final slot, like that's gotta be a lot burning just to show how bad a unit is. I feel like we're pretty knowledgeable enough and we've seen enough in the game just by reading the details of the equip or the kit. It can kind of gauge their impact unless it's a brand new mechanic where it's like, okay, I don't understand how it works. Maybe we need to see it in game to see what kind of impact it has. But I mean,
Yeah, those are typically saved though for like brand spanking new premium units though. Like I would be absolutely shocked to my core if they somehow decided to slap a brand spanking new mechanic on one of these 1% equips. Am I gonna oppose to it? Hell no. Go right ahead. But am I gonna say it's gonna ever happen? 95% chance, no.
I mean, to keep up with power creep, they're gonna have to find a way to like bring these older units up to speed, and the only way to really do that is by adding a mini Zenkai buff to their equips. I mean, we've seen it with a lot of the other premium older units and stuff. Like, for example, the purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that they Zenkai'd. Like, they buffed up his green card to like give key, and it gives 2 cards now, right? Off the equip.
Yeah, it does. Again, the main thing that was holding him back though is again, he was so close to being like actually a good option, but they didn't give him cover null.
Hmm.
Like, why? Again, like it's not really that much of an ass to give a unit cover null and equip. I don't think it is. Honestly, it's such like a expected thing to be slapped on units nowadays. Like from I think even as far back as like 2022.
Yeah. And
Like it's not really a out of the question thing.
and I think this is all a result of power creep, right? Like we have
100%, 100%.
we've got
Yep.
all these strong units now that are doing so much damage, but for you to really do something, you have to have cover null for some amount of time. It could be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or
Hmm.
sprinkle a couple here and there, but that's really necessary for you to even be playable. And that's why the Super Vegeta is trash because for the first 10 timer counts of him just being in there while his gauge is passively filling up, he can't do anything. But then when
Right.
his gauge fills up, then it's like, oh yeah, I'm a powerhouse. I could put in work. But
Yeah,
are
it's
you?
like before that gauge is filled up, like you're traveling back in time to using a 2021 unit, and then when he actually fills it back up, like you snap back to the modern era.
Yeah, exactly. So
But it just all resets once you switch out, so it's like, what's the point? So,
what is the point?
uh,
Just to get hit and take damage and possibly die because again, power creep is a thing, and all units are able to one combo if you leave them in long enough. AKA
yep.
Super 17, Ultra Gohan,
Mm-hmm.
all the
Mm-hmm.
other like top 10 units. So it's actually ridiculous. But
Oh yeah.
back to this cooler here. I'm gonna pass the bucket over to you, Glow. Do you have you used this unit? Have you seen it? Is it straight just bench only? What is your perspective on this?
It is trash because the biggest thing with this, and like they were doing a lot better with these equips as of recently. But I think the biggest issue with it was that, well, not even the equip. The biggest issue is the unit itself. Fuller is essentially a mini Bardock, and despite how well they were like and better they were getting with a lot of these plat equips, they held back simply because this unit is a crit buffer. They hate crit
Mm.
buffers. That's like Super Saiyan Zenkai, Super Saiyan Blue Bardock is quite possibly their most hated unit. Because I can't think of another unit. They made another unit Zenkai specifically his counter.
It's just gotten to the point now I
Like
just wish
this
they'd
Blue
never
Cooler was
released
doomed
Super
for
Saiyan Bardock, honestly.
Yeah, they can't delete them
honestly,
from the
bro. Like
game though. You
Like
know.
bro. Like
it's just
they
getting obnoxious.
it like this Bardock, like because of what that Bardock did, knew this cooler was doomed, and I was just like, bro, he's not gonna do anything on Zenkai. They're like what he really needed was like better self bulk, and he needed key. He needed better ways of getting key, and he needed self bulk. Like he
Yeah.
gets no key on green. Like that is so stupid.
Yep.
Yep. And they have the capabilities of adding that. We've seen it with the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's equip where they were able to add key and cards to, utilizing a green. What made them fumble with this cooler or not giving him that? Like they could have put that in the third slot instead of crit on switch out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's
Mm.
so dumb.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And what about the green cooler itself? Like he seems to have more of a usable kit in today's meta, him being blast based, which kind of fits the current like LOE structure with a lot of like the other freezes that have come out, except the Go Freezer, which is, the strongest LOE out of the bunch. Do you feel like they did a good job building up his Zenkai, or is it still niche?
The problem with his Zenkai is that his kit is so reliant on bleed. It's like it's very obvious they want you to run him with a unit like Janima that inflicts bleed on the whole team, but like who has that? Like his team, LOE is trash.
Mm.
Janimba's out of the meta. Like it's so unrealistic for them to have that.
Yeah. And I kind of want to bring up Janimba just for a second, though. Like, I still believe that he can still be used in the meta today. He has a lot of meta defining utility within his kit, and he still does great damage. I mean, I get it. The Ultra Gohan is a green, and he could just instantly delete him. But against anybody else, he does extremely well. I was out here memeing earlier
Yeah.
today with a yellow blue team going against like Ultra Gohan on droids, and for somehow pulling like wins out of my ass going against like former God rank players and stuff. I'm like, I shouldn't be winning. How am I winning right now?
Yeah, like I'm still running Janimba mostly because my hate for Super 17 is greater than my hate for Gohan.
But what if you get caught by a Gohan?
So, oh, if I get caught, I die.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just like if you run into like a Ultra UI Goku. Like if he sees you and you got a purple in, you die because he'll just lock you in and you can't switch, and then he'll proceed to pop the ultimate. But like I don't know. I just feel like Janemba still can put in some work. I still believe he deserves to be somewhere in the top 10, not like high in the top 10, but at least like on the lower end because of him being one of the strongest, if not the strongest, blue option that's in today's meta, in my opinion. But for this green cooler, do you, because you run movies, he's a movies unit, would you run him?
You're funny. You're funny. No, I would not run him. He's good bench if movies gets like I guess a green blast PO,
Mm-hmm.
but like that feels so specific. So I'm not running him, but he's bench.
Certified bench only. All right, Op. So what about you? Have
Yeah,
you
he's
seen
definitely a
this?
better bench than some other units.
Yeah, because movies don't have a lot of good benches right now, right? Does he buff movies? Is he a double buffer for movies, or is it
I'm
LOE
pretty
only?
sure. Yeah.
He's blast attack, blast defense for
Okay.
movies.
So movies now, well, no, powerful opponent movies now has an option if they want to run like a Zenkai buffer because he buffs green powerful opponent. So I mean that's pretty crazy though. Just how like LOE has gotten two Zenkais back to back, but both don't do nothing for the meta. I mean I get it. The green Frieza, he does good blast damage and he does have great combo potential. And he also has the ultimate that could nuke your bench, and he can also nullify endurance, I believe, on the ultimate. I don't know. LOE still needs a lot more than just those two, but maybe we might be seeing a shift to whatever the new color wheel is coming for LOE, where it might do like a double green purple or something like that. Because I believe LOE already has a lot of good like Zenkai buffers for blue. They have great Zenkai buffers for purple, and now they have two more for green. Do you guys see like there could be a potential color shift if they come out with a meta defining LOE unit that's green?
My thing about it is that we don't really need a cracked out green at this point. I think the biggest thing we need at the moment is a cracked out purple because I know that
You
obviously
had Go
Super
Freezer right
17.
there.
Well, I mean, I know, but like he's really like that unit's only really good on like glaze comps. That's about it. My thing is that currently, like, I would prefer a purple just because obviously I know Super 17 is the bigger problem, but like again, it's like I made a point of in the last pod where they love hard countering the ultras first because they just love viewing those as a bigger problem unit over any other standard like monthly LF release. So there's that.
And
And on
plus,
top of
Gohan
that,
is just way more annoying.
well, debatable. Anyway,
It's not debatable, bro.
it's debatable for me,
Gohan is
bro.
just nullifying everything. You
He
want to
is.
play? No, you can't.
Gohan is pretty bad. He pretty bad. I can't cap. Listen.
That's why he's number one.
I will say, like, do you guys know what Super 17's nickname is in the community? Osama bin Laden.
Whoa,
I was
my
gonna say
They're
God.
reincarnated
calling
Hitler.
Super, bro. They're calling him like a terrorist, the super terrorist.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking, like, bro.
And Gohan's the
Like, we're
anti-hero.
not calling this. We're just saying we hate this Gohan. We're calling Super 17 like Saddam Hussein.
I don't know, man. Like
I
I've
I
never,
fucking
I've
hate
never
this
had
man.
that bad of experience with
yeah,
Super
like
17.
Super
nah, I
17.
hate that
Oh, I
unit.
have. I'm telling you right now. When that one motherfucker tap attacking you and then blast, you dodge, they tap attack again. And if you try and backdash, then they'll rush or just blast, and now you're stuck in that
At least
animation.
they're
You can't
doing
get out.
something. Gohan's just gonna keep backfloating.
I'm doing
Backboarder,
something. You're
sidestep,
doing nothing.
AoE green catches you. Like,
Nah, yeah, this is the one time with Glow, bro. I gotta be honest. It's a rare occasion, but I stand by him on this. Like
Like
I
wow.
hate
this
Super
Gohan has
17.
stuff, bro. This Gohan has stuff we are used to. We've seen this. AoE greens, we had Bardock Goku. That's nothing new. A gauge that makes it hard to interact. UI has that. This is nothing new. Counter blue, we haven't seen that in a while since Name It Goku, but it's still it is what it is. A Super 17 fundamentally locking you out of interacting, and on top of like if he's paired with this Gohan, he has a blast break card. You can't like interact with this man like half the time.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't,
no, I despise him.
I just feel like depending on the player, and I'm not saying that, if you're the god player that you should be able to just get out of anything. I just feel like Ultra Gohan has way more tools that makes him just more of like a safer, annoying option on like how to engage. With him having the anti strike armor blast card or whatever, he's got the gauge that can block strike cards. He's got the AoE green that locks you. He's got endurance. He reduces your ki if you hit him. Like there's a lot that he's doing. And Super 17, he can do some things and lock you out. But like you got to be a skilled or semi-skilled player, like what to do with him to like annoy your opponent. Because if you're just floating there with a green card in your hand, a Super 17, and you're not utilizing the taps, you're not like rushing in to lock your opponent out, then that's an easy defeat at Super 17. Do you guys agree with that, or is it just, am I talking out of my ass here?
I'm gonna be honest with you on this one, bro. Like in God rank, no one is playing Super 17 passively at all. Nobody. The
No one.
best way to play that
Like in
unit is
God
hyper
rank,
aggressive.
they are the most offensive players. They
Easily.
like
Yeah. They just press cards and they win.
like it.
Because they don't stop hitting you.
I was telling people this. I was telling people this. The problem with Super 17 is that sure he kills passiveness, right? But he over rewards aggressiveness to the point where it is hard for you to counterattack. You have if it's like, oh yeah, you're forced to like be like he promotes you being offensive, but he forces your opponent, the person playing against Super 17, to be on the defense the entire time.
Isn't that what we wanted?
And when they're passive, they have a green card.
Isn't that what we wanted? We wanted to end passive play.
No, we don't want like we wanted this, but not to the degree that this is going on. I don't
They're
want to have
never
to deal with Super
able to find a
17.
happy medium.
There's no
They never
happy
can.
medium. It's either
They
too
never
high or
can
too
find it.
low.
They either go
Exactly.
too far or too little.
It's going to change eventually. And maybe this will be a perfect time to segue into what LOE really needs. But before we do that, Obsto, in your experience,
So they need God.
they need,
So
yeah, they
LOE
need,
needs God.
they
Well,
need
yeah, they
God, they
do.
need the devs, they need Toshi to
But
be on the bench.
bro, they get these Zenkais, and what do they have? They have nothing. They don't need God. They need a whole ass religion.
They need a whole ass banner that has like 5 different sparkings on there, and and they all gotta be great. Maybe that's what they need. But in your experience, have you ran into anyone using this green cooler or using the blue cooler with the equip? Or do you feel like the devs wasted their time when coming out with this update?
I've run into one final form cooler, and that was in Treasure Battle. That's it.
A treasure battle?
Yes, in Treasure Battle.
Wow. Yeah, that he's not in a rank then. He's literally nowhere to be seen. So
Like, is it good that it happened? Sure, but this is not what they need.
I agree. Like how do they incorporate any kind of synergy with these two units? You have the blue one that is strike base. Yeah, he gives damage inflicting some crit, but like I can see it boosting up the Go Frieza and really doing some damage. But again, there's no sub count manipulation. You get him in and out quick. And if Cooler gets caught, he doesn't have much sustained damage cut. He's just gonna get completely deleted. So I don't know what their premise is for that. But hey, we got a new green bench buffer. So if they come out with like a PO LOE unit, that's two green buffers that they can use. That's a potential. But let's go ahead and jump into what LOE really needs, because the community is speculating we're gonna get another Ultra. Personally, I feel like that would be way too soon since we just got this Ultra Gohan, and we typically don't see Ultras drop back to back like this. But from Goresha's most recent video, he talks about his opinions on the banner being dropped, and usually this translates into another Ultra, or this could translate to a hyped, LF type of unit. We'll start off with you, Desla. Do you think it's going to be a LOE banner or Ultra? And if so or not, what do you think LOE needs to really bring them in that conversation?
So at the current moment for me right now, where I sit with things, I think that it's really anyone's guess in terms of what it could really like. It could truly be because yes, it is a coincidence that the last two Zenkais that we've gotten are LB related, but they're both also movie related as well.
Yeah.
So on top of that, we also got the Free Broly, who is a Saiyan and movie related.
Mm-hmm.
So what could end up happening, and it's definitely a possibility because it's like one of the weirdest anomalies ever that we still haven't gotten yet. It could be LFZ Broly, honestly.
Mm.
Now, would that be like a super likely option? I mean, maybe not, but I mean, we're being honest about this. Like, they do tend to lean more towards the, I guess, more enticing bait options before any, like, major celebrations. Like,
Mm-hmm.
last year, obviously, we all know they were hot garbage, the Boo Duo, but if they were nuts, like, they could have absolutely passed as, like, a Part 1 LF for anniversary last year. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you. I still think that an LFZ Broly, honest to God, I would say is also anniversary worthy, to be honest with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's obviously a very popular character. I
He's,
think he fit the bill for sure.
I mean, he's one of
Uh,
the most hyped villains of all time.
I can see Anniversary actually being a LF tag Z Broly with super. I
that
can
might be
Okay,
honestly
part
see that.
chill.
two.
I don't
That
want
might
to
be
summon
part
on
two. Might
another
be part
trash
two.
Mm.
game original banner.
Yeah, that's gonna be part two, bro. Anyway, LFZ Broly though I do think has a good chance of dropping just because the running theme has been movie like themed like villain characters for this entire campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not that, they want to go the LOE route. I mean, the obvious one is it's thing right there. It's Mel Cooler. He fits all of the tags that have been involved in any of these units so far that we've got for this campaign. So there's that. Do I think that he'll be a LF or an Ultra though? I mean, it's a toss up because they did decide to have this year start off with obviously double LF release for the GT campaign we had at the start of the year,
Mm-hmm.
which you could treat as an anomaly, I guess, but also you could treat that as like maybe a running theme going forward where they have that as kind of like a buffer period between like months where they do drop ultras in campaigns. We'll have to see. If they do go the ultra route, then I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't bank on it being LE related because the fact that if you want my personal opinion, I don't think it's the best move right now to try and buff LOE because they've given us like two lukewarm LOE Zenkais that you can argue like aren't even like necessarily focused on LOE specifically anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least in Cooler's case, I guess Golden Frieza you can argue that, but like they decided to Zenkai him in like one of the most unappealing times ever because there's like two top tier Saiyans right now. That's
Mm-hmm.
about it. So whatever. I mean, there were three other times in recent memory where they could have absolutely Zen kind of instead, but they chose now. But yeah, I don't know. I think for the like time being going forward, I would say that LFZ Broly, if they want to really shake down some people of their lunch money, then I'd say it's a likely chance they'll drop for sure. Because we have seen in the past as a running theme where they have not been afraid to drop hype options during monthly release slots. They have
Yeah,
not been afraid of doing that. As for an Ultra LF, it's a toss up, man. It's an honest to God 50-50 coin toss. We'll have to see. But
yeah.
yeah,
And there's plenty of other like powerful opponent like nemesis type of units they could also drop, like the Future Saga. They haven't seen a buff in a long time. They could sneak one out of nowhere and drop like a future type of banner out of nowhere. But I don't know, maybe that could be a reach. But Metal Cooler definitely does seem like to be the play. And as for if it being a regular LF banner or Ultra banner, you're right, it could be a toss up. If we do see another Ultra that drops so quickly, then this could be the new trend for 2024, where maybe the dev team has revved their Ultra, creating, members up and start spitting them out every month. Because I remember from one of the other like reveals and stuff, they stated to make an Ultra it takes 3 months plus. So I don't know how they're spitting them out this quickly. But what about you, Ops? Though, what do you think is going to be dropping, and what do you think LOE needs to really be meta relevant?
I mean, like I said, LOE needs an absolute new religion. They need a new identity. They need more than God. But I was thinking, and in the missions this week for like the campaign, I looked at the 3 tags, which are movies, PO, and Transforming Warrior. So I went into the game and I checked which 3 characters have all 3 of those tags,
Yeah.
and it's Janemba, Cooler, and Bojack. Could we
Oh.
be getting a Bojack?
Bojack's it is a transforming war, but he's not regen, is he?
He's not regen, no, but he's not listed. But regen is not on any of the categories or tags listed.
Hmm. Okay.
The only 3 characters on those 3 tags consistently are Coolers, Janembas, and Bojacks. And for Cooler, it's just normal Cooler. It's not Metal Cooler. It's Cooler from the first movie he's in. It's
Hmm.
not Metal Cooler. It could be Metal Cooler coming. I'm not saying it can't, but I'm just saying that the only unit that hasn't gotten a actual premium release of like those 3 characters is Bojack.
Man, what would Bojack's LF even be?
They'd probably make some up.
Yeah, they gotta make some.
You need a hair gang jumping you.
Hey, Bojack with what Zanga and the other guy assists, like the other crew.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would be
Beto.
Dua,
interesting.
Beto.
Okay, that'd be very interesting. Or like a tag unit, like a Bojack, like Zanya unit or something. I don't know. That's a really
Yeah.
good idea, though, Ops. Though, like we might see something like that, and you'll be the first one to call it here. So, listeners, if it's another Bojack LF, you heard it here first. But what do you think, Glow? Like, do you follow from what Opsto is saying here, or what are your predictions, and what do you think LOE needs?
Well, I'll start with what LOE needs. LOE needs to, they need to choose what they want to be. If LOE wants to be blast based, which I'm guessing they might be because of Golden Frieza Zenkai,
Mm-hmm.
the LOE right now just needs like they need a main unit for the team to revolve around. I've said this a bunch of times. LOE is a team where every time LOE gets good buffs, it is one of the worst metas in the game. And it's starting to shape up like that. This is a trash meta. If LOE gets a buff, then a trash meta. Now, you may think, oh, when has that else has that ever happened? Kyle Ken meta, Super Saiyan Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Kyle Ken. It was God Key versus LOE. LOE was the worst team to fight against.
Mm.
Look at Triple RP LOE when Blue Cooler had dropped and he was number one. LOE has like I'm not looking forward to it, but I think if they want to be blast based, LOE needs like a big core unit. If they want to be strike based, and like LOE has so little to work with that they really just need to choose like what direction they want to go in.
Agreed.
If they want to go blast based, you could they if you want to go blast based, you might be able to cope blue not blue, the yellow LF Frieza, the final form, you might be able to cope that
Mm-hmm.
as like a unit on that team. If they want to go strike based, that means like Go Frieza is going to be here for a bit longer. So it really depends on what they want to do. But they gave LOE/PO essentially 2 blast benches, which makes me think they might go blast based. If that's the case, then they need a good blast unit to just be able to do stuff. Like you can't like it's to the point where we're seeing with a lot of these blast units, you can't just be one dimensional all damage. You need to have something puts you in like the realm of top five.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit more
So
about being in the realm of top five because they're making all these units. Their stats look great, but their kits they don't have what it needs to make them meta relevant. What makes a unit top five? Cover nullification, color, nullification. Having key on switching. That's pretty basic, right? Like being able to nullify
mhm.
endurance on like blue cards and ultimates. Power down. We're starting to see power down on a lot more newer units. That's gonna need to be more paired because all of these meta teams they hit too damn hard. Like if you stay in for longer than 3 cards, you're either absolute or dead. Do they need that or no?
What all the units in top 10 have in common is that they have key. They have ways to consistently get key,
Mm-hmm.
except for Ultimate Spirit Bomb, USB. He has other things too. You need to have good damage. You need to have cover though. I think most importantly, it's not a specific mechanic, but it's a certain philosophy that at you need to be a unit to be in the top 10. You need to have some sort of mechanic or feature that allows you at an instant to flip the game on its head.
Mm.
You need that. If we look at the normal top 10, what do we have? Super 17,
Yep.
his oppressive ceiling and his green card. That can flip a game on its head. Gohan, last man standing or having a counter blue. That can flip a game on its head. LF Cell having his death, his blow up. If the wrong unit you blow him up the wrong time, that'll cost you the game. USB gets stronger the less enemies that he's facing. Because the less enemies characters your enemy has, the more oppressive you ultimate spirit bomb becomes.
Mm.
Beast drop combo. I don't need to say much. Baby's green card, counter green card. Even if he doesn't land it, it gives good effect. But if he does, somebody's might be dying.
Mm-hmm.
UI's lock in. LF Jiren having like essentially forcing from the get go your opponent being like, hey, don't rush or else you're in a world of hurt. And even Go Frieza, who now like are seeing play because for some reason, Go Frieza juice setups do amazing against Droidhan setups, which is hilarious.
It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like both of their colors just nullify Droid Hunt.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
almost
Yeah,
like that,
it's
and their damage
literally
has an H to day.
it's bro, it's literally just a color thing that benefits them so much. But like I'm saying, like all these top 10 units have in some way an aspect can completely flip the game on its head. Even Revival Cell, who I think is in top 10, but his is because like Revival Cell is mostly because of his teams. But even then, like one you catch someone lacking with that stun green card, yeah, you're cooked.
Yeah.
And even he gets cover no.
Mm-hmm. Multiple times and vanish restoration, and he can lock you with his green card,
Exactly.
like
And card destruction.
and card destruction.
Like
Like, what else? What else
like
does he
there's so
need?
many you need something to like really turn the tide on its head. Like, for example, I'll say this right now. If Gohan didn't exist, Janemba would be top 10.
Easy.
If Gohan didn't exist. But Gohan does, so Janemba's not top 10.
But I'm gonna say a
Janemba's
quote.
alt like
I'm gonna say a quote that you mentioned before because this kind of brings me back to when Ultra UI was running amok and we didn't have any kind of like reds to really put it in place. Should people just run Janemba as is and not be scared of Gohan, or is this different?
this is a bit different because like Janemba still has to deal with the fact that yes, G-Force still exists. Pikkon and Bardock Goku got hurt, but they still exist. The problem is that before when UI was there, it wasn't like, oh, UI is up every unit in the game. It's just he's a strong yellow. People are scared to run purples. Gohan is up everybody, type neutral or not. Type disadvantage, type advantage, type neutral. Gohan is up everybody. That's a difference. Now it's like if you as a blue do not automatically almost always have access to defensive type neutral, which is why USB, I mean, I haven't ranked as 4, which is why USB is still seeing value, is that when he has his type neutral, he can tank Gohan for that time being. But once that type neutral is gone, he gets shredded like butter.
Mm,
Like his health just melts. And that's to any unit.
my goodness.
I understand, like, yeah, it's similar. It's similar to the situation of run. Like, I will say you should run blues if you hate Super 17 more than Gohan. But I'm gonna run Janemba because yeah, I hate Super 17 more than I hate Gohan.
Yeah. And then you can just run a viable purple to just take care of Gohan, which Jiren does great. I'm seeing more people post about the Evil 17 from GT doing some work. Still kind of, I feel like Cell
Yeah,
is the better purple, but I'll leave it to the GT mains
yeah.
to see what they do.
Yeah, I see. I think the best purples right now are Cell, Jiren, Go Frieza, and Vegeta Bula.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Uh,
the
go ahead.
problem I was saying is that there is one team that potentially could be really good at stopping Droid Han, but they're missing one key unit, and that's Regen. Regen has a good blue purple combination of Janemba and Cell. The problem is that Regen is like in a really not bad spot, but in a really well, they're in a predicament with their third slot. If you're gonna run Cell and Janemba to counter this go the Gohan droid setup,
Mm-hmm.
say you run Baby as your third unit. You have no real rush protection other than sacking Cell. Say you run Revival Cell. All right. It's two strike based units. Well, one blast based unit, one strike based unit, and one unit that can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's losing out on damage on that setup. Say you still keep it strike based. You run Kid Buu. Kid Buu in this meta is a horrible idea.
Really?
Say you want to run Orange Piccolo. In this with Super 17, Beast
Well,
and Revival Cell
yeah,
running around,
they'll
that's a
bend him
horrible idea.
over. They'll bend him over. Yep.
They will fry his ass. And then if you want Orange Piccolo, like be for real. Like Orange Piccolo is a liability now. On Regen, he's a liability. Orange Piccolo's only good team is Red Green movies. And he on that team, he's really just a beat stick to help ramp up Beast. So Regen, if Regen gets like a good defensive third, that's like a glue for the team, I think Regen stands a very good chance at beating this Droid Han team.
Yeah.
But at the current moment, like, nah.
Which Metal Cooler would fulfill that if that's where they're going, or they can go with the Bojack and then movie PO could further thrive a little bit more. But I guess we'll see how that
Maybe.
actually goes. But
If it is
does
Metal Cooler, I hope he has Indestructible.
would it be too soon to add another unit with indestructible? We still haven't got a unit that can nullify like revival, like the blue Beerus. We still haven't got another unit like that for some reason.
They don't want it to be too common.
I mean, it's so rare. It's only one unit in the game. They could throw another one in there, or maybe Zenkai that blue Beerus to kind of help deal with
Yeah,
everything.
they don't want a situation where they one of the things I feel like the devs definitely regret is how abundant they made how much they spread apart too much anti-endurance. Like I think the biggest thing the devs you can tell that they regret is letting units like Rose, Tag Droids, and LF Yellow LF Frieza exist.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason LF Frieza and LF Rose got done dirty on Zenkai. Because imagine for example this, right? A top tier kit like G4 or Ape when he dropped. And just naturally on rush or anything they kill endurance. Here's how crazy that is. Every endurance unit in that meta will die. And they don't want that to happen. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely think tag droids might have been the last unit that they're ever going to give that like naturally to.
You say it now until we get that next unit. We'll see what happens when the next coming months or next week. Who knows?
If it happens, these devs didn't learn jack
Can't
shit.
wait for Bojack to come out, who just nullifies endurance.
Hey, maybe that's what we
Yo,
need.
relax.
What, you don't want to summon?
No, I don't want to.
But he's a movies unit.
Is what you
Movies,
need.
you know, I'm still saving for Annie, dog. Give me a break.
Too bad he's a movies unit.
Oh my gosh. But what about you, Desla? What do you think LOE needs to make them relevant, meta relevant? Do you agree with what Glow was saying with all of the specifics kit wise, or do you still think they need like an ultra, or they need an LF banner with a good 1%? Because in my opinion, an ultra is not going to save LOE. They're going to need still another unit to like bring them to the next level. But what do you think?
Oh yeah, no, an ultra is not going to cut it. LF with 1% is probably the way to go. And I mean, again, even with that, my thing is that currently, I don't know. Even that's not enough because like Go Freeze is fine, but like they work so much better as like the sole focus on a team, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, where they're like the main point character. And yes, glazed comps for them are still good because they can hard carry if you play them correctly. If you don't and you lose them, I mean, pack it up.
Yeah.
It's an instant wrap. But I think barring that though, like what needed to happen if they wanted to have the genuine intention of making LOE like anything even remotely noteworthy, they needed a Zenkai revival Frieza.
Yes.
It needed to happen. Like I don't understand why they're holding off so much on doing it when LOE is
Life
not gonna
support.
sugarcoat it. It's dog shit. But barring that, like if they wanted to have this campaign be specifically focused on buffing LOE mainly, that was the bare minimum they needed to do for step one.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. They didn't do that. So what's leading me to believe is that I'll be honest with you, dude. We're probably not gonna see LOE buffs for them until like I guess for a dedicated campaign anyway until probably post anniversary. I'll be
Oh
honest with you.
no. Don't say
Like,
that.
nah, I'm being for real. Like again, it was a thing of where this tag needs like a dedicated campaign to focus on just them. That's just how it is. If they don't do that, then like I'm sorry, but they're not gonna really be much more than like a team that just exists for 2 seconds and then gets instantly forgotten after the anniversary comes.
He's right.
That's kind of just where they're at.
Damn, you even got Glow Green with you. We know hell
It's a it's
froze
a
over.
it's a
Like,
it's a rare night, man.
It really is, man.
Yeah, I
and
agree
this,
with him. He agreed with
I
me.
don't know what's
So
going
it is
on,
what it
but it's
is.
happening.
It is
It's happening,
happening.
man.
All right, we got to break this agreeing stuff right now. Hold on, I'm gonna mix things
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
But
let's see this. All right.
all right, so they could just say screw it and drop something that could potentially help out the current Saiyan team, right? What other
God, I
No,
hope not.
no, no, we're good. No, no,
No,
can't
Yeah,
do
no.
no
so.
thanks.
That could be a potential option there because I mean we started off the campaign with the equipment for Brawly. We got this new free to play Brawly, so I mean an LF Brawly that can be thrown on a Saiyan core. So you're looking at UI Goku or Goku Bardock with the Brawly and Ultra Gohan. What do you do?
I mean, I'm just sincerely
It
praying they make
could.
him like mainly work on movies.
Yeah, but will they do that though? I mean, that's gonna not make people summon. They're gonna be like, no, we slap them on the leader slop and it's ready to go.
You can say that, but like movies is probably one of the more popular tags in the game at the moment.
That
Hence
is
why they
true.
continue to have every campaign shadow buff them in some way, shape, or form.
Like a secondary buff, just like with the Beast Gohan and everything else that we've been getting as of recent. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like LOE is just such a life support tag right now. And like the buffs they've been giving it are extremely questionable. Like, all right, what am I supposed to do with this cooler? All right, what am I supposed to do with this blue cooler? He still can't survive in this current meta. I'm not using these units. I'll use the green cooler to be bench, sure. Bring him in the match against what? So he can get eaten alive? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't understand it. So, but I think we've
Hey,
got,
it's like I've been saying. It's like I've been saying. A lot of every time LOE is asked, it's because they're paying for the previous LOE team sins. Like,
wow.
the devs themselves are very aware that anytime LOE is a top tier team, the entire game is in a bad spot because everybody's mad, everybody's pissed off.
Well, because they
Like,
keep making them the most
name one
toxic
time
unit in the
LOE
game.
was number one and the community was like, "Wow, the game is in a really good spot."
Well, what's the difference
Like I
between
said,
now, though?
like they just keep making LOE units that are the most toxic
Well,
units out
now
there
you
to
can
fight.
say that because of look at Gohan. When a Gohan is undisputed number one, pretty bad.
And be ran with Super 17 with
Like,
anti blast armor cards? Like, we're already in the meta.
or when Droids is number one.
Well,
Like
here's,
certain tags have like bad reputations when it comes to being number one. Like hybrids being number one. We think about LF hybrids with Revhan, FSK, FG. Droids being number one. Um we think of pre-festival like that Droids team with Gammas, Super Seven, Gamma's MVP and like Cell or Magenta being like almost unkillable. You think of Yellow 18 Zenkai,
all right.
they have a bad rep. You think of LOE and all the times they've been number one. It's like certain teams have a very bad track record of like just the game over.
Well, I think it's Eloise time to come back. And if they decide to throw this curveball, have a LF banner and let the sparking 1% be a support King Cole that fights with his sword that gives extreme bleed on strike attacks.
I can't hate that. I can't hate that.
I mean, we saw what they did with this
valid.
Trunks. Ain't nobody expected that to happen. So we don't have much, if any, King Cole representation in the game. It'd be a perfect time to drop him, and that could really complete the whole lineage of evil family, because then you'll have the dad, you've got the two bros or the two sons, and you could put them on a team and try and fight the meta. Who knows? I don't think there's much else to be said at this point. We've kind of made our peace with these two LOE units, and they're just not there. And with the speculations coming out, there could be a probability for an Ultra banner. People are thinking that it's going to be Ultra Frieza. Ultra Frieza is not going to be enough to bring LOE into the light, so it'd be more beneficial to have a LF banner with a really good sparking similar to Super 17 and a really good, 1% sparking to get them up there, which I think a King Cold would be perfect to kind of fulfill that role for the Nemesis campaign. But that is it for the meta talks. Lastly, for Dragon Ball news, the Dragon Ball Sparking Showcase just dropped. So if you guys haven't peeped that yet, please check it out. They've showed a lot of good clips of upcoming characters like Dispo. They show some clips between Brawly going against Kale. And then there's other things that they've dropped some snippets on with the Goku and Vegeta fight. So please check that out. And then also the Dragon Ball manga is taking a hiatus break. People think it's indefinite. It's not. Speculation shows that they'll be joining back in April. And they're going to continue Dragon Ball Super manga, passing it on to Totaro. So, please look out on that. But that is it for the Rising Rush podcast. If you guys can, don't forget to give it a like and a follow. And we'll be back here once again next week to talk about what's going on in the Dragon Ball Legends universe. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Yeah. See you.
See you.